What's good, my people? Welcome back to EMGM Sports. It's me again, your boy Enzo. I'm back with another one. This is the post-fight analysis. Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois. What a great event last night at Wembley in front of 96,000 people. What an incredible event that was. Yeah. First of all, listen, I want to big up the whole organization. Do you know what I mean? Wembley. Do you know what I mean? Big up Matchroom, big up, Eddie Hearn, big up Frank Warren, big up Turkey Allah Sheikh, big up Riyadh Season. Like they put on, yeah, an amazing event. I was just sitting at home watching it on TV, and I had friends that went to the stadium. They were there, like in situ. Like they said, it was a fantastic experience, one of the greatest experience that they'd ever had in their life. And even me watching it on TV, like, it was great. The spectacle was different. The spectacle was fantastic. The fireworks, the performances by Oasis, the ring entries, the undercard, everything was fantastic. Like the walk, Anthony Joshua's ring entry, the walk, everything was perfect. Do you know what I mean? Daniel Dubois, his ring entry, he came in there confident, bouncing around. Daniel Dubois looked like he was a man on a mission. Do you know what I mean? Had no fear in his heart at all, no fear in his eyes. Like, looked at the camera, he was on game. Do you know what I mean? He knew what he was coming to do that night. And do you know what I mean? And he took care of business. He took care of business. And today, yeah, look, I'm gonna take my time with this video. It's not gonna be one of those quick 5 minute, 6 minute videos. Now, I really want us to sit down, really analyze the fight. I did do an immediate, an instant post-fight reaction. I done a video last night. You can watch it, find it. It's on my channel. That was just a quick reaction, like, because obviously, look, last night there was a lot of adrenaline because a lot of us did not expect the fight to go the way it did. Look, it's heavyweight boxing. Anything can happen. Do you know what I mean? You're a punch away from oblivion. But we all thought that Anthony Joshua, with all that experience, we thought was going to take care of business. Or if Anthony Joshua was going to lose, we didn't expect him to lose in that manner. We did not expect Anthony Joshua to be absolutely dominated from round one and then annihilated, destroyed in round five. So incredible scenes, like unimaginable scenes. For me personally, I think that was the greatest boxing event in British history ever. Do you know what I mean? That tops it, like, from the performance, tops it by Daniel Dubois. The whole aesthetics of the event, everything put into place. And he had a record-breaking crowd at Wembley, 96,000. So absolutely fantastic. Do you know what I mean? Both fighters made a lot of money. So the finances, the economy of it, everything, you know what I mean? Great. But let's analyze that fight. Let's sit down, take a deep breath. All the dust has settled, and let's actually look at the key components here. How AJ lost that fight. Now, a lot of people watching this might think, oh, Enzo's been a bit disrespectful here. Why is Enzo not talking about Daniel Dubois, who destroyed Anthony Joshua, who's now the IBF champion of the world? Why is Enzo not talking more about Daniel Dubois? Daniel Dubois deserves the praise. He deserves everything. Do you know what I mean? So why is Enzo not talking about him? I promise you, yeah, I will do another video just on Daniel Dubois. I'm going to review just Daniel Dubois, look at his performance, how amazing he was. But today I want to focus on Anthony Joshua. I want to focus on Anthony Joshua because obviously he let everybody down. He let himself down, he let his team down, he let his fans down. It was just a performance that nobody was expecting. And I'm one of AJ's biggest fans. But in this video, yeah, I want to be brutally honest with myself. I'm going to be brutally honest with Anthony Joshua. I'm going to be brutally honest with the audience, because at the end of the day, yeah, I can't sit here and lie and try and twist it, manipulate it, have some type of agenda. No. Even as an AJ fan, I have to be honest with the audience that I'm talking to, because the audience that I'm talking to are not stupid. Let's just look at that fight, yeah. Like, from the ring walk from Anthony Joshua, he comes out, music, great, everything. Joshua comes out as the boss, comes out saying, this is the message from the music that he was giving. Because look, music tells a story in itself, There's certain music, certain words, you don't even need to say nothing as a person. The music is saying He's setting the whole tone, setting the whole mood. So the music that AJ was playing, he set the whole tone at the start. He came out, that white suit, golden. Listen, man, AJ, you can say anything about AJ, yeah, but he's a showman. Like AJ, he's a showman. He's made for the big events, AJ. Do you know what I mean? Some people are just born with it. AJ's born with it. He's got that aura about him when it comes to these big nights, big fights at Wembley. So AJ comes out, white robe, do you know what I mean? Demeanor, everything, looking like a monster. That was great. That was fantastic. But that was the best performance from AJ that night at Wembley in front of 65, in front of 96,000 people. Anthony Joshua's best performance, yeah, his best performance of the night was his ring walk. Apart from that, he was absolutely spineless. Let's be real, he was spineless. Joshua comes out round one. I mean, that's probably the worst round one I've ever seen from Joshua. Like in a lot, like that's the worst round one ever. Like I'm an amateur boxing coach, yeah, and I have the privilege of working in a gym. I'm in a gym coaching kids, amateur kids. I also get an opportunity to watch professional fighters as well, like some pro fighters when they're training, etc. And the thing about boxing, yeah, you have the basic fundamentals of boxing. Basic fundamentals of boxing that everybody has to follow. If you don't follow these basic principles, you're gonna fail. You're not gonna succeed in boxing. It doesn't matter how good you think you are, but if the fundamentals are not in place, yeah, you're not going nowhere. And when a kid walks into the gym, yeah, not even a kid, anybody, even an adult, yeah, and not let's say a novice, you walk into the gym for the first time ever. It's your first time in a gym. As a coach, any coach, yeah, the first thing, some of the basic things, the fundamentals that a coach will try and input into you, into the fighter when you're trying to learn boxing is footwork. These are the fundamentals. They're going to teach you footwork. You have to be taught footwork because your footwork works as a defensive mechanism and also as an offensive mechanism. If you have great footwork, you can get out of trouble. If you have great footwork, you can also put your opponent into trouble by setting traps with your footwork, cutting off the ring, etc. Another basic fundamental of boxing is keeping your hands up, a high guard. So if you're teaching a kid, yeah, if you're teaching even an adult, a novice, someone that's a beginner at boxing, you're gonna get their footwork right, yeah, because with the footwork they can have balance, good shape, yeah. They don't get their feet all mingled and tangled and everything like that. The second one you get them is keeping your hands up, getting your guard up. Yeah. Keep your hands up close to your chin, tucking your chin. Yeah. And keep your hands up at all times. Those two basic fundamentals in boxing, yeah. Those two principles, Anthony Joshua did not respect it at Wembley last night. That went completely out the window. Anthony Joshua had no footwork in that fight. His hands wasn't up. His hands was low. His hands were so low. I mean, the chin was there, like for Daniel Dubois to hit it any moment that he wanted. I just don't understand the tactics that was being deployed by Anthony Joshua and Ben Davison. And we all thought that when Joshua went over to Ben Davison, we all thought all those Joshua weaknesses, some of the bad, his bad tendencies were removed. Because Ben Davison is a tactician, man. He's a student of the game. Like he studies boxing. His passion and his love for boxing, like the way he studies boxing is second to none. Ben Davison. And I admire him. I really admire him. And a lot of people around the country, you speak to coaches, boxers, they have high aspirations for Ben Davison. He's gonna go a long way. He's probably a future Hall of Famer coach, boxing coach in the UK. And they have to take responsibility for that performance on AJ last night. AJ himself, first of all, as the boxer, has to take great responsibility. Ben Davison, as the coach, has to take great responsibility as well for that loss, because I was listening to the corner and Ben Davison, I never heard him tell Anthony Joshua, put your hands up, like keep that guard up. I don't know. If I'm mistaken, let me know in the comments. I'll really appreciate it. But I never heard Ben Davison telling Joshua, yo, just listen, you've been clipped here, yeah? Your legs are all over the place, you're Bambi on ice. What we need right now, compose yourself, get your guard up. Get your guard up, because Daniel Dubois is throwing volumes. Daniel Dubois has had a quick start. He's going to keep pouncing with a jab. He's going to come with that right hand over the top. If your hand is low, you're going to get clipped on the chin, man. I never heard Ben Davison saying any of that to Anthony Joshua. Now, listen, who am I to criticize Ben Davison? I'm just giving my opinion. I'm not saying that Ben Davison is a bad coach or anything. No, I'm not saying that. I admire Ben Davison and the great work that he's achieved so far in his career. But I believe that a lot of the blame should go to him as well, as the coach. And of course, AJ takes a lot of the blame as well. AJ kept his hand down the whole time. He kept getting clipped. No footwork. AJ was going back. You know, listen, one thing I'm always told, you know, when I'm doing my levels as a coaching, as an amateur boxing coach, yeah, one thing that when I'm watching other coaches, yeah, who are more experienced than I am, pro coaches, amateur coaches who've been in the game 15, 20 years, they know everything in a book. When they're coaching a kid, when they're coaching a fighter, they always tell them, do not go back in straight lines. Because when you're going back in straight lines, you're just enabling the attacker, the aggressor to just follow you. And you're an easy target if you're going back in straight lines. What you need to do is spin off, move off the line, create angles so that you're not easily caught. But yesterday, Joshua was just going back in straight lines. Daniel Dubois was just following him about the ring and being the aggressor. Joshua was going back in straight lines, yeah? And because he's had his guard down, and he was going back in straight lines, Joshua had his guard down, his hands were, his left hand, right hand were low, yeah? And another mistake that Joshua made, his chin was up in the air the whole time, like his chin was here. He's basically telling Daniel Dubois, look, here's a free hit. Here, right there, here's my chin, gone. Clock me. And he did. He got clocked several times before he got knocked out. Basic fundamental errors that we did not come to expect. A seasoned pro, a two times heavyweight division champion, yeah, to be making those type of mistakes. I mean, that's probably one of the worst performances I've ever seen from a heavyweight. I'm going to be brutally honest, and I'm an AJ fan. I watch amateur shows, white collar boxing shows, unlicensed shows. Like, mate, they're not even making those type of mistakes. Some of them, they're not, like, you wouldn't see amateur boxers making those fundamental, basic errors that AJ was making in that fight. I don't really understand the thought process in AJ, because AJ's got so much experience. AJ has enough experience, yeah, that he should be able to gather himself, gather his thoughts, yeah, get his mind back and go back to the basics to defend himself while he's in danger. But it just looks like he never recovered. All the game plan, all the basic fundamentals of boxing, all the rules just went out the window. He just thought, like, let me just survive here. It was just in survival mode. And it looked like an amateur. When we all know Joshua has had better performances against very good opposition in the past. I just don't really understand that performance last night and the basic errors that AJ was making. That's not me. Listen, this is not a question of whether, what I'm trying to say is not a question of whether did Anthony Joshua lose or was it Daniel Dubois that beat him. No, listen, Daniel Dubois beat Anthony Joshua. Even though I'm highlighting a lot of the errors that Joshua made, Daniel Dubois still had to get the job done, and Daniel Dubois beat him up. Regardless of whether AJ made the mistakes or not, the errors or not, Daniel Dubois still beat him up. Let's just make that clear. I don't want anyone to get this misconstrued in any way, shape, or form. Daniel Dubois beat the hell out of Joshua last night at Wembley in front of 96,000 people. I make no bones about it. That was a demolition job by Daniel Dubois. But going back to AJ, man, I don't get that performance, man. What you guys and girls think at home, like, I don't get that performance. I don't understand where that came from. For a two-time heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah, he's been there with some tough fighters. He's been there with Vladimir Klitschko, Andy Ruiz. He's been there with Dillian White. He's been there with Joseph Parker. He's been there with Joseph Parker. He's seen different styles. He's been there with Alexander Usyk. We have to say, Anthony Joshua has never been destroyed, yeah, outclassed, the way that Dubois was able to do it last night at Wembley. It's never happened before. And another thing is, Anthony Joshua's punch resistance, oh my God. Mate, Anthony Joshua's punch resistance seems like he's left him. Whenever he got hit with a jab, yeah, and Dubois' jab was on point, sharp as a pencil, mate. He kept hitting Joshua with that jab at will whenever he wanted to. And Joshua did not take... Every time he go hit with a jab, his chin went up. Hit with a jab, chin went up. Like, the reactions were... It's absolutely... Like, it's crazy. Anthony Joshua's demeanor, his reactions to every shot that Daniel landed was beyond a joke, mate. He just never had him. He never had himself. Like, his body was never there. His mind was there. His body just couldn't hack it. Like, the punch resistance from AJ was non-existent, man. He was getting dropped every time Daniel touched that chin. He was getting dropped. I don't get it. Is it age? Is it the fact that he's been fighting mediocre opponents and Daniel Dubois fought some tough fights and he's come through and Daniel Dubois is more prepared? I don't know, man. There's no excuses, man. There's absolutely no excuses whatsoever for Anthony Joshua in this fight. He just got beaten up, man, by the better man on the night. And boxing, yeah, boxing is about small margins. Small margins. The window is really, really small. Like, the window of opportunity is really, really, really marginal. And in heavyweight boxing, in fact, there is no margins. In heavyweight boxing, there's no margin. There's no room for error. You will get clocked, clipped, knocked the hell out if you make any silly mistakes. And that's what happened to AJ. Topping that up, AJ had no boxing skills last night. Absolutely showed rubbish boxing skills. I'm being brutally honest here. We have to help Anthony Joshua out. I know there's a lot of Anthony Joshua fans, etc., etc., but we have to be honest with Anthony Joshua. What we can't do is like be a bunch of fanboys who are gonna trying to like how can I say, who are kind of trying to like trying to make Anthony Joshua feel like, oh, don't worry, man, it was an off night in the office and you know you were unlucky. No, he wasn't even unlucky. He was none of that. He got beaten up. He got destroyed. It was a poor performance, man. But Daniel Dubois, what a hell of a performance. And like I said in the beginning, I want to do another video on Dubois. I feel like he's now the legitimate IBF world heavyweight champion of the world. He deserves his own video. I want to do that on him. This is just Anthony Joshua here. And Joshua is in big trouble now, career-wise. When he got knocked out in that 5th round, yeah, Joshua came out. He clipped Daniel Dubois with a straight right hand. And Daniel Dubois, his legs buckled. He went back, retreated. But Anthony Joshua made another silly rookie mistake. Joshua kept making rookie mistakes the whole fight. And he made the worst one at the worst time. One thing about boxing, especially heavyweight boxing, yeah, a lot of the time, yeah, you're actually in danger when your opponent is hurt in the heavyweight division. I say this because If you don't have the discipline, if you do not have the discipline at the moment when you hurt your opponent in the heavier division, don't forget the other guy is hurt, but he's still carrying dynamite in his hands. He's still got the power. He might be hurt, but I don't mean he's over though. Not yet. And Joshua made a very, very rookie error. He went in, he clipped Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois back with a bit. Daniel Dubois retreated to try and get his wits back about him. Joshua followed in, try and go. He went for another right hand, missed that. He tried and then go in for the uppercut. Big mistake. When he went for the uppercut, yeah, he's coming up with the uppercut. His left hand was low, chin up in the air. You know, what right hand comes up, his right uppercut comes up, chin right in the air, up in the air, his chin was up in the air. Daniel Dubois was like, thank you very much. Clipped him with that right hand. It didn't have to be hard. It didn't even have to. I hear a lot of people saying that it wasn't a hard shot. It didn't have to. A shot doesn't necessarily have to be hard to knock you out. If a shot is accurate, it's on the button, it's night-night. That's what happened to Joshua. Joshua went in aggressively, no discipline, no control. He didn't calculate his movement. He didn't anticipate the danger because Daniel Dubois wasn't that hurt. Yes, he was hurt, but he wasn't hurt to the point where he couldn't defend himself. He could still defend himself. He still had his wits about him. So Joshua to go in there with such lack of discipline and rush in with his left hand down, not protecting his chin, why he goes in with a wild uppercut, hands down, chin up in the air. Come on. It's beyond a joke, man. Absolute beyond a joke, man. People talk about the occasion getting to Daniel Dubois because he's never been in such a big event. The occasion got to Anthony Joshua. He couldn't cope with it. He got clicked, knocked out, like knocked out. Silly, silly errors. Silly. Joshua made errors from the first, like for the first second of the fight till the last. His whole fight was full of errors. He has to go back, watch that fight with Ben Davison, yeah. Look himself in the mirror, and that was a disgraceful performance, man. And I like AJ. I'm an AJ fan. I respect AJ and everything that he's achieved in boxing, you know, from where British heavyweight boxing was. AJ picked it up with his bare hands, yeah. And boxing, the heavyweight division, it is where it is today with Riyadh season, Turkey Al Sheikh. You have to thank AJ for that, for everything that he's done. The popularity, the eyes, the money that he's brought to the heavyweight division. Listen, it's unmatched, I think, in history. Salute to Joshua for that. But listen, we're talking about that last night's performance, and that was terrible, man. That was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And people are saying now, where does Joshua go from here? Let's talk about that. Where'd you go from here? After such a poor display, after getting, you know, ending the fight, face down, ass up. Pause on that. But yeah, the way Joshua ended that fight, like, where does he go from here? Like, who does it? Because the Fury fight, that's interesting. That's interesting. Does the Fury fight carry any more weight now? I don't think so. Not the same way that it did 5-6 years ago. And we're still waiting on Fury Usyk in December. If Fury gets outclassed again, if Fury gets knocked out by Alexander Usyk, which can happen, with excuse me, Fury nearly got knocked out by Usyk in the last fight. He got saved by the ref, actually. This time, Usyk is going to be even more confident that he can just clean the floor with Fury. If Usyk beat up Tyson Fury, yeah, knocks him out. I mean, if Age has been knocked out, Fury's been knocked out, I mean, who's going to watch that fight? And I've been talking to people, a lot of people still want to see the Fury AJ fight. Yeah, they would, let's settle it once and for all. But it's not going to have that same impact. It's not going to have that same aura around it. It's not going to have that same feeling. Like, us fans, boxing fans, we're not going to be sitting around and anticipating, talking to ourselves, having these conversations in barbershops, in gyms. Oh, who's better, Fury or AJ? Like, that time's kind of gone, man. That's what I mean. These boxers, yeah, when you're in your prime, when you're at the top of the game, yeah, fight each other then, face each other then. Win or lose, it don't matter. Us boxing fans will respect you more, yeah, if you fight each other in your prime. You're gonna make money anyway because the winner, there's always a rematch clause. There's gonna be a second. There might be even be a trilogy. Fight when the time is right. Just fight, man. All this avoiding each other, being greedy about who takes the most money, who walks out the ring first, prima donna rubbish, like all this diva stuff, like needs to go out of boxing, man. That's why I like Turkey Al Sheikh Riyadh season coming into the limelight because he's putting on the best fighters. All these fighters avoiding each other, ducking each other, asking for more money. Look what's happened now. Wilder's done. He's been knocked out a few times. Age has just been rocked, knocked out. His stock has gone down. Fury's not the fighter that he was 5 years ago. Like the three fighters that we all wanted to see fight each other. It looks like that fight will never happen again. Those fights will just never happen. Why? Because of stupid egos, stupid demands, and ducking each other. We'll probably never see AJ Wilder. Wilder's kind of done. AJ, I don't think he can fight Wilder. It's not gonna happen. And I'm angry about that. These guys, these promoters, these fighters have denied us some of the best fights that we could have seen in history. It's therefore I blame the fighters and I blame the promoters for being greedy and depriving the true boxing fans of the fights that we actually want to see. And this is what happens, man. If Daniel Dubois comes along, yeah, and destroys everything. A potential fight between AJ and Fury that could have been worth 100 million each. Both fighters. Yeah, they'll be lucky to get 20 now, man. I'll be honest. With those type of performance, they'll be lucky to get 20 million now. I'll be real with you. I'll be real. I'll be real honest. Like, I'm not even joking around. They'll be lucky to get that type of money. Where does AJ go from here? Some people are saying retirement. I don't see AJ retiring. Simply because he's 34, he turns 35. You got the likes of, Joe Joyce is older, still fighting. Chisora still fighting. Usyk is 38, still fighting. But I understand the sentiment of people. I understand because if you're getting knocked out in that fashion, in that manner, and it looks like you haven't really rediscovered yourself. It looks like you're still making basic errors. Like, what is the point of carrying on? Like, AJ has made all the money in the world. He doesn't need it. He's always gonna make money in the future, whatever he goes on to do, because of his popularity and his AJ. So he's always gonna make money, even if he does media work, TV work. AJ will be fine. Yeah. Don't expect to see AJ your local job center anytime soon. He's not happy. AJ don't need the money, but the fighter in AJ, the warrior in AJ, the pride in AJ, yeah. Because all these fighters, they have pride, man. The warriors. He's not gonna want to go out like that, in that manner, in that fashion, getting knocked out, absolutely destroyed by Daniel Dubois. Anthony Joshua's not gonna want to go out that way. So I see Anthony Joshua coming back. Now, Eddie Hearn did mention that there's a rematch clause with Daniel Dubois. Does Anthony Joshua, based on last night's performance, does he deserve, does he merit? The key word is merit. Does Anthony Joshua merit a rematch against Daniel Dubois? Me, personally, even as an AJ fan, hell no. Based on that performance, he should stay well clear of Daniel Dubois. Boxing, for me, there's been a lot of mediocrity in boxing over the years. And I'm a person that I believe in meritocracy. I believe that you have to earn the right to fight for a title. You have to earn the right to fight in big fights, man. And Anthony Joshua doesn't merit a rematch clause. He doesn't. Based on that performance last night, he doesn't. Because he was rubbish. But it's boxing and money talks. If the finances, if the economy is right, if Turkey Al Sheikh Riyadh season comes in, they're offering Daniel Dubois millions, Daniel Dubois might just take that rematch because he might think, you know what, I've beat him with ease. Absolutely destroyed him. And I believe that Daniel Dubois, in his heart, he'll be thinking to himself, you know what, I could do him even worse in the second fight. And AJ, where does he get the confidence from? That's the thing. Where the way it's not like Asia outboxed Daniel Dubois and then Daniel Dubois got a lucky shot and knocked him out. No, Daniel Dubois outclassed Anthony Joshua, outboxed Anthony Joshua, knocked him down like 3 or 4 times, then knocked him out, destroyed him. So all the confidence, all the skill set, everything is on Daniel Dubois. Anthony Joshua has nothing. So that rematch, Daniel Dubois will be the outright favorite with no discussion about it. Daniel Dubois will be the favorite. I don't see the point. I think Daniel Dubois should move on. Maybe Daniel Dubois, and I heard Frank Warren talking, saying they want Daniel Dubois back in there maybe December. He wants a fight to keep him busy. So Daniel Dubois could take on Joseph Parker. I think stylistically, that would be a good fight. Joseph Parker is back on the up. He's had some great performances against Zhilei Zhang. He beat Zhilei Zhang and he knocked out Deontay Wilder. So that would be a good fight. I wouldn't put Daniel Dubois in there with Martin Bakole. I think Martin Bakole is too awkward. Power, he's got power on that right hand. Great jab as well. I think that's a dangerous fight for Daniel Dubois, especially now. Daniel Dubois has got the belt. He's got a bullseye on his back now. He's got a target on his back. Everyone's after him now. Zhilei Zhang, Parker, Bakole, all these fighters now going to be after Daniel Dubois. So Daniel Dubois, if he wants to stay active type of fight, although dangerous, Joseph Parker will be dangerous, but I think Daniel Dubois can turn him over. Daniel Dubois can knock him out. I think Joseph Parker is the least danger fight than a Martin Bakole. So for Daniel Dubois, I will go for a Joseph Parker, just like a stay busy fight. No disrespect to Joseph Parker, by the way. But I believe that Daniel Dubois beat him. But then he's boxing, man. He's boxing. We've seen it, man. Usyk beats Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois takes the knee. Usyk can't knock Joshua out, but then Daniel Dubois knocks Joshua out. Mate, everyone got it wrong. Boxing experts, pro fighters, ex-pros, amateur coaches, pro coaches, me, everyone in the media, pundits, experts. No one, if you're sitting at home right now telling me that you predicted that result, that type of performance from AJ, you're a big liar. Stop lying. You did it. No one saw that coming. It's everywhere boxing. One punch can change everything. But we did not see that. That brutal annihilation of Anthony Joshua by Daniel Dubois. What a great performance by Daniel Dubois. We did not see that. Hats off to Daniel Dubois. Massive respect to that kid, man. Massive respect. After everything he's overcome, after all the challenges he has to overcome, after all the criticism, people talking down on him taking a knee, calling him a quitter, to go out there in front of 96,000 people, record breaking, the biggest crowd ever at Wembley, to put on that performance. He's a true champ. He is a true champ. Massive respect to him. But going back to AJ, people are saying retirement. Like I said, he's not going to retire. He won't retire. He might have another fight. The big question is who? That's the $1 million question. Who does he fight? I don't really see no one in the landscape right now. And Joshua, at 34, he's going to turn 35. What? He needs another rebuild? Another rebuild? Like, how long is another rebuild going to take? He's got no time for rebuilds. I think Joshua should just see out. No rematch with Dubois. See out. Wait and see what happens between Fury and Usyk in December. And if Fury was to lose in December against Usyk, then we can get Fury versus Joshua in 2025 in May at Wembley, as the farewell fight. Both fighters can go out there, give you their best, and then, win, lose, whatever, and then just ride to the sunset, man. That's it. Call it a day. If I'm Eddie Hearn, if I'm Anthony Joshua, that's the kind of map. That's how I'm rooting the rest of my career now. AJ, listen, he's gonna come under a lot of scrutiny. A lot of his haters are gonna come out and say, "Look, we told you, AJ's not elite. He's rubbish. He's cheeny." They're gonna say everything under the sun to discredit what Anthony Joshua has achieved. Because Anthony Joshua has a lot of haters out there. With success comes a lot of haters. But I'm going to say this. Anthony Joshua, keep your head up. You've achieved a lot of things in this boxing, yeah? You rejuvenated You took the heavyweight boxing division, yeah. You brought it back. You know what I mean? You've done a lot of good things for boxing. The money that there is in boxing right now, in general, it's because of Anthony Joshua. You've won a gold medal at the Olympics, man. You've been a two-time heavyweight champion of the world. You've made loads of money. Your family's set. You're good. My bro, don't ever look down on yourself because you've won at life, man. You've won at life. And it's boxing, it's heavyweight boxing. You know it. You've knocked out a few fighters in your career. You know it. It only takes one punch. It takes one punch. Yeah. So don't be too hard on yourself. You got beaten by the better man on the night. Daniel Dubois, he deserves that. Last night was about Daniel Dubois. Anthony Joshua, just sit back, relax, go back to the drawing board, speak to your family, coaches, promoter Eddie Hearn, sit down, really think carefully about what you really want to do next in your career. Don't make a bad move. Don't let your pride, don't let haters, people getting in your ears, yeah, lead you into making bad decisions. Don't allow them to do that. That's I'm gonna end it on that. I'm gonna end it on that. I don't think there's much more that we can clearly say. We've already analyzed the performance. We looked at where Anthony Joshua can go from here. I'm gonna end it at that. And I'm just gonna say thank you very much, man. If you watched this video from beginning to the end, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you're new to the channel, guys and girls, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. I would really appreciate that. It does a lot for the channel. It helps the channel grow, and that's exactly what I want to achieve. Thank you very much for watching EMGM Sports. Until the next one, peace.